Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor here. Today I thought I'd talk about budgeting and handling your business expenses more professionally. A lot of people carry over what they do in their normal life to their business, but a lot of the times what you're doing in your normal life are convenience factors, like going out to dinner or buying something because it's easier, whether you can get it cheaper somewhere else or not. But with your business, your number one goal is to get everything as cheaply acquired as possible to lower your costs. When you're working for yourself, every single dime that you can save is another dime in your pocket. But when you're working for somebody else, you're saving them money. It's not as important to you as it would be to the owners of the company you're working for. But now that you're running your own eBay business, it's all you. It's all relying on you to cut the costs and to save yourself more money. And for us, we look at every aspect of the business. Where can we save a few dollars? It may not sound like a lot when you start off, and let's pick off and save a few bucks here, a few bucks there, and across the board. But when you add each area up that you save money in every month, it can be a huge difference. You could cut your cost a couple $1,000s a year by doing just some simple little easy things. Boxes. If you're getting the boxes from eBay, obviously you're stuck, but you can get boxes cheaper somewhere else. So if you need more boxes, Walmart's a good source. We go to box manufacturers as well too. It's a great source too. It's much cheaper than anywhere else you can get them. eBay boxes, you can get the same kind of boxes, if not better, for half the price. Walmart sells them for around 72 cents, I think is what the new price is now, for the average box that we use, or cheaper. Some of the boxes go down to like 48 cents plus tax, so they're like 52 cents. From a box manufacturer, if you buy in quantity, you can also get them that cheap. May not sound like a big, huge ordeal, but let's say you save 10 cents a box. Saving 10 cents on a box may not sound like much, but let's say you're saving 10 cents on every box you buy, and you're selling 500 items that need a box. So right there, you've just saved yourself 50 bucks for 1 month. Again, it may not sound like a lot, but multiply that times 12 months, you've just saved yourself $600. And let's say you find another way. You can buy cheaper bags where you can, your poly bags, your 6x9 poly bags, or 9x12 or 8x10, whatever poly bags you order, you can outsource those, get them in larger quantity, and lower the cost per bag down 2 or 3 cents. That could, again, net you, if you're mailing out maybe, 400 or 500 of those a month. That's about average for us, probably on the smaller sized poly bags. So for us, that's another, say, 50 bucks we could possibly save there. And again, that's now, we're up to $1,200 a year that we're saving just from lowering the cost of stuff like that. Buying in bigger quantity. In some instances, like poly bags and things like that, you can buy in larger quantity and get twice as many for less than you would have spent on a smaller amount of them. Let's say you're buying 100 count now of poly bags, and if you bought 1,000 count, you're going to cut your cost down in less than half. It's a no-brainer if you buy more. I mean, it's going to cost you more to buy that 1,000 bags than it would be to buy the 100, but in the long run, if you're planning on doing this as a business, you're going to end up saving yourself a ton of money. There's a bunch of things you can do like that. I've talked about getting special clothes just for work. That works out good too. You can save a few bucks here each month, whether it's 20 bucks a month. Again, this all adds up. You're talking, hit each area you can find where you can save yourself some money. There's only certain areas you can do. If you got labor, cut your labor the best you can. Budget it so it's working for you and you're actually making money off the labor instead of just blowing labor on piddly stuff that isn't important. Prioritize your labor if you're doing the labor. If you're buying box material, again, like bubble wrap. If you're buying bubble wrap, only buy end cuts. If you don't know what end cuts are, I've got some other videos here about packing. End cuts are literally from a box or bubble wrap company that makes the bubble wrap, and they'll cut them to size, and at the end of the day they have the leftover roll ends that they can't really sell to the public, so they sell them as like packing end cuts. You can get huge amounts of bubble wrap for 15, 20 bucks, and I'm talking huge amounts. That cuts your cost down like a 20th. I've looked into that too. We use it occasionally. For us, for packing material, I get free newspapers. You can get them at, the library, the bank, your neighbors. They've got boxes everywhere. Even Walmart sometimes has the free newspapers there. I'll grab a stack here. I'll grab a stack there. I've got neighbors, family members that save newspaper. So I cut my cost down to zilch for packing material. I don't spend a dime. I don't really reuse most boxes over. I might use the box material and cut them down and use those to wrap an item in and then put that item in one of my new poly bags. But again, people who buy from us always pay their own shipping, so I do not cover shipping. Shipping is never included. Very rare occasion, maybe one out of a 10, 20,000 items I might have included shipping in, but that's about it. So again, that helps me cut costs. It does not affect my sales in any way from anything I could ever see. We've projected it out. We've looked. I tried way in the beginning, including shipping, but it just didn't seem practical, and I still sold the same amount of items. So that's another thing you can think about, not including shipping. Any cost you can save is important to you. Your electric cost, if you're running it out of your house, you can deduct a certain percentage. You can do it by square foot too, and just take a standardized, I think it used to be like $5. I've got an accountant that does all that stuff for me, but you can rate how much of your house you're using. So if you're using 30% of your house, you can actually deduct part of the electricity, a 30% fee out of that too. If you're lucky enough to have a separate meter in there, that's always the best way. You can have one put in. Some electric companies will do that free of charge and then put you a second meter where you can just run certain parts if you got a separate outbuilding or something along that line. That's more for advanced or someone more up that's selling a lot more where you can afford to invest the money into that. But all that is an expense. Your gas is an expense. The packing supplies, your tape, your office material, toner for your inkjet, or LaserJet, I'm sorry. I use a LaserJet for everything. I've got several. LaserJet's the cheapest. That's another thing you could look into. The type of printer you use. Whatever you want for printing, if you're going to do a lot of sales, and you're going to be printing paperwork left and right, you're going to want a LaserJet. Something fast, something easy, something cheap, something that takes a cartridge that can print 5,000 or more pages. My printer, I do Newegg. Sometimes I'll go to their site, or I think the other one's supermedia.com. I don't buy any older or outdated toner or ink for any of my printers. Some of it dries up. It's never great. I used to resell some that I found at thrift stores and stuff, but the ink, when it's set for a while, sometimes is no good or it'll jam up a printer. I don't want any issues, so I don't really mess with that. I know there's some good money to be made, and for the majority of it, you won't have any issues. We didn't have but a few issues, but it was enough to make us wonder. We had a negative years back because of it. But again, anything you can save money on, whether it's programs or buying or downloading free software. I use for some of my editing for cameras and for when we take photos in one of the photo booths, Digicam Live I use. It's a free software. You can do a live view off most cameras as long as they have the correct plugins. Again, that's why I bought a little nicer camera. I think we spent $500 on the cameras itself, each one. We bought 3 initially. I got a deal when I bought more than one. And the camera lenses are all interchangeable. All the parts that I've shown in other videos for my camera, that's all interchangeable with all the cameras. That's another plus. Everything is interchangeable. Same with the printers. I have all the same printers. I don't remember. I think it's a Hewlett-Packard printer that we have. That's usually what I buy. It's like $200-300 for it. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so I can print from any of the laptops anytime I want. Makes it easy. I can send anything to it. I can even send pictures to it if I really wanted to. But again, I buy the economy large-sized ink cartridges for my printers. It's much cheaper, and you won't have to replace it very often, I wouldn't think. I go through a couple a year, but again, I sell like 1,000 items or more every month. So it prints a lot. I print a ton of paper. And with Amazon, when I'm doing Amazon orders, I'm printing invoices as well as the items, so it's double printing for Amazon. Plus I print invoices for other things here too. But again, anything you can lower your costs on, every single dime you can save is more money in your pocket. And again, it may not look like much, $50 a month, or getting top-rated seller status, which is what we've had forever. It used to be a lot better, the discount you got. They've now cut it in half and then given us the boxes. But even the 1% when you're selling, $20,000 a month, it's a big deal. So every dime you can save from whatever you can save it from is what you want to do. Don't think of it as your own personal life the way you do with your life, like going out to eat or getting something quick or getting something simple. You don't want to do that with your business. You want to try to get a different mindset. For us, we've itemized in the past, even in our normal life. well in the past. My last job, I never had enough itemizing options to use it, but now that we work for ourselves, we itemize everything. Obviously, you have to. It's part of what you have to do to file taxes for a business. Your licenses, every fee you get can be deducted in some way, shape, or form from your business costs, and that's what you're looking for, to lower your costs at all costs. Anything you can save is going to be money in your pocket. Anything. I don't care what it is. It's going to be money in your pocket, and it's going to save you money at the end of the year. We estimate $3,000 or $4,000 on some years we save by itemizing and by cutting costs, getting cheaper boxes, getting cheaper paper, buying a paper in a case instead of buying them by a ream or two at a time. If you're small and you're not doing that much, you can buy the 750 count reams as opposed to the 500 count reams. It's cheaper. Don't buy stickers if you're starting off. Just print off your labels on a regular sheet of paper, cut them off, and tape them on. Source your tape. We get a case of 36 rolls of standard tape, the same thing you'd find most places, for less than $30, shipped to the house. Again, these are things you can research. Don't just buy the first one you see. Compare them. And even if you find some that are cheaper, check out the quality. Check out how many mils the tape is, how thick it is, where it's manufactured, how much the shipping is. Every part of that plays into your costs and cutting your costs. Your camera that you purchase to do this, whether you're using a phone, whether you buy the phone just for business and have a second phone for your normal life. These are all things you can do that'll save you costs. It's a little hard to write off a phone if you use it for everything, unless you're only using it for business. So again, that might play into having two phones. Again, if you're just starting off, though, you may not have the money to get a separate phone. So saving costs, anything you can think of to save costs, whether you route out your driving to where you're going into the best route possible when you're going to sales or estate sales, hit 3 or 4 in the same area when you're going out, instead of driving multiple times. Every little dime you can save adds up. $50 here, $50 there, $50 there. You may end up saving yourself $500-600 a month come the end of the year. That's a lot of money. You're talking thousands of dollars you can put in your pocket. So what you want to do is lower your costs. That's the end game you want to do, is to lower your costs so you can save as much money to bring it to the bottom line at the end of the year. And the only way you're going to do that is by checking every part of your business. Make a list of what you have to buy every month. Put a little tablet on the fridge. Every time you buy something for the business or whatever your costs are, write it down, and then take each one of those items and see if you can source it cheaper somewhere, anywhere. It doesn't matter whether it's Walmart, whether it's Office Depot, whether you're doing like Newegg or Supermedia.com or any of the other options you have to buy the items cheaper somewhere else. Do it. If you're upgrading your computer, you can always find cheaper parts online. If you don't care if they're used, buy used parts. If they don't work, you can always send them back. Just buy from a reputable dealer that has good feedback, that has a good return policy. That's one thing we look for everything we buy. And again, you want to save money. So treat it as a professional business. Be serious with it. Look for any costs you can cut. Again, make that list. Go through those costs one by one, and as soon as you figure out if you can save money off of it, cross it off your list. If you can't save and you've looked everywhere else, put it on a separate long-term goal list, as maybe later on in the future there'll be a better way to save from that item. Whatever it may be, whether it's garbage disposal or whatever you have to do where you're at. If you have an outbuilding like us in another area where you do have to handle disposable and garbage and things like that, do the best route you can. Maybe it'll be cheaper for you to take that garbage home and dump it in your city garbage, and it's cheaper that way. You're not paying the extra fee. Whatever you can do to save money is what you want to do. So again, this is Don the Auction Professor here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button below, subscribe, and tell a friend.